You are in front of me now because you're what?
He's wanted out of Denver, Colorado.
His negligent care was sufficient enough. When they investigated, they believed the children required or could have had sustained infection, required amputation, or even death.
Welcome to Bench Report Court Cam.
You, Mr. Avinash Chun. You speak English? You are in front of me now because you're what?
He's wanted out of Denver, Colorado, is my understanding.
Okay, you want a bond?
Yes,
Okay, so the reason we brought you out here now is because your lawyer is asking me to set you a bond. I don't know. I've never met you before. I don't even know why you're wanted. But a couple things. Number one, and my main concern is public safety. Number two, my other concern is if we set you a bond, are you going to go back to the jurisdiction that you wanted from? I don't know. Let's get to know you. So, Day, tell me about him.
So it's 10 pages, and I'm trying to read as fast as possible, but my information is limited. It's regarding a
10
negligent...
pages of criminal history?
No, sorry. The affidavit for the probable cause. I just received it as he was being brought up, and so I'm reading this in real time. But
Wouldn't it take more time?
Well, I know you have to go to court 3. I can supplement after the original approach. But the warrant was issued out on December 25th, so on Christmas, for negligent bodily injury. I'm reading the probable cause. There was a well-being check request on December 16th, where this defendant was in care of 2 individuals, and his negligent care was sufficient enough that when they investigated, they believed the children required or could have had sustained infection, required amputation, or even death. And they found dried blood. They found, hold on, sorry, it's reddish brown stains on items behind the bedroom door. It goes on for some time, but it's generally sort of disarray and injuries all over, malnourishment. But I spoke with the demanding jurisdiction, and they are requesting him be held at no bond until he is returned to the They do want him, and if the court
If there's only one count or 2 counts?
I think there's 2, but they're under 2 different statutes. When I run the the warrant from Colorado, it looks like he's being charged under 2 different statutes. But because I just got the information, I don't have the charging instrument.
Is it negligent homicide or is it negligent?
They're not dead, but it's that the possibility, just because of the despondent state of the living conditions, the 2 at-risk individuals.
Minor children?
Caregiving center operated at the residence.
Which is special needs?
Looks to go on some time, text from November 25th. Oh, here we go. It's 2 adult males with intellectual and developmental disabilities. And so vulnerable complainants. And I believe one of the arguments that counsel was bringing for him to obtain a bond was that he takes care of autistic individuals, and obviously him being charged with these felonies, or even 1 felony of vulnerable individuals, it becomes a public safety risk by the nature of what's already happened. And so with it being over a month, and with the conditions of children being, like I said, almost amputation or death, and I can go further into
any prior criminal history?
No, Your Honor. But the fact that it was for such a long time and due to their state, and so I'm not sure if they were at a point in their condition, like physical or medical condition, is that they were unable to leave. Obviously, that'd be more akin to constructive kidnapping, but I don't know yet because, again, I'm still reading through it.
Constructive kidnapping?
Well, just because if he's malnourished them or deprived them to a point where they're unable to physically capably leave. The well-being check started in November, but I don't think they did a wellness check until December 15th. Again, I don't know. I'm just reading parts of it. And so I don't know to the extent of it before law enforcement was notified.
Yes, Judge. So a couple of things. First, this case is from Adams County, Colorado. My understanding is that my client was in Sydney, Australia when this warrant came through. He was in Sydney on the day that December 25th. when the warrant came through. He came back to go back to his hometown. And during that period, the warrant came through and he got picked up. So this.
Oh, 'cause I was wondering why he's here in Houston. Are you telling me that he had a flight connecting to
So my
Denver?
understanding is there's no direct flight from Denver to Sydney, so he had to come through Houston. And so on the way out there, the warrant was not issued. And while he's over there, the warrant's issued. He's coming back. He gets picked up for it here in Houston. Now, it's a charge. We went through a whole bunch of stuff. This isn't probable cause court. All that stuff is in Colorado. That's not here. Here, we're talking about a fugitive case, public safety, and whether or not he's going to turn himself into the demanded jurisdiction. So a lot of public safety talk has been going on. If he were over there and we're talking about public safety, it would be rectified by just saying, don't go talk to whoever is playing witness, right? And so that's the jurisdiction that has the authority to do that. Here, we're just trying to see if he's going to go answer for this charge. He hasn't been running from anyone. He got picked up immediately after he came back into the United States. He is not a flight risk. He came back into town. He didn't know this was out there, and so he hasn't been running. He hasn't had an opportunity to avail himself to Colorado. He hasn't messed up in your court. He's got no criminal history. He's got family that supports him, that's willing to post a bond for him. He's got skin in the game if you allow him to go turn himself in.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm just reading the kidnapping part. It says, asked if they were allowed to leave the basement. She stated no. Regarding the targets, asked them to go back downstairs when they come up.
Again, Judge, this stuff is irrelevant to whether or not he's going to go turn himself in, whether or not he's been on the run, whether or not he even knew of these charges. If he needs to answer for that, he can't answer it for it here in front of you. He can't argue against that here. That's in Colorado.
So part of what I'm trying to figure out is if they've notified him regarding this this warrant, and obviously that's going to play a part. If he was notified to return himself and then he went to Australia, obviously I'm going to have a few more questions.
You want to like pass it for just maybe 5-10 minutes and take a look?
Yes, Judge.
Do that. Let me, because I've got a couple things to do here and it looks like he doesn't have all the questions answered. Give me just maybe like 5-10 minutes. We can come back and reconvene so that you know exactly, you know, because if I set him a bond, you know, I want you to be absolutely sure on both of you guys.
Thank you,
Please.
Judge.
Okay. Thanks. Anyway, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Unfortunately, I can only present what I have, and nobody's called me back. So unfortunately,
but you can't. I mean,
I know.
you're asking 3 agencies to call you in an hour. That's not feasible, and that's just not enough time.
Anyway, but that's all I have to present.
What do you think about giving him a bond?
I mean, ultimately, you're right. I don't have enough to argue for the flight risk part other than the inherent nature of it being a fugitive case. But it's just with the,
You know, if he would have been in Australia and they extradited him back, that's one thing.
well, that's
No.
a different pickle. And we actually have someone that handles just international extraditions. And I haven't worked on any personally, but I know that's a whole different ballgame. And so
What I'm saying, what I'm alluding to is that he's back on his own accord, whether he knew or whether he didn't. Regardless, you know, it doesn't. My only concern is if he goes back or if he if he goes back or he doesn't go back. And you're old enough to know that actions have consequences. I'm going to set you a bond now. It's not going to be a low bond, but I'm going to set you a bond. You know, we give you 14 days from the date of your release to go back to, is it Denver?
Adams County, my understanding is Denver.
Okay. If you don't go, you're old enough to know that actions have consequence, and the consequence is that I'm going to revoke this bond. I'm going to set it at 0. I'm not going to give you another one, and you're going to lose all the money that you paid here. Do you understand? Now, according to Murphy's Law, what happens, if it can happen, it will happen. So don't wait till the last day, because I don't care if you come back here, oh, kicking and screaming, oh, well, I had a death or I had this, my car broke down. I don't care. The minute you get out, you need to make arrangements to go back there. If you try to get on a plane, they're going to arrest you again. So you need to make other kind of travel arrangements and get to Denver as quick as you can. You understand? Now, what's an appropriate bond?
Judge, I would ask just to have enough skin in the game, considering he doesn't have any criminal history, considering he was on his way back. It's not like he was running for a year, 2 years. The warrant came through on the 25th of December. We're at January 7th. So I would say 2,500.
I would.
I think pretty low considering it's a serious felony,
Well, that'd be, he's got to pay 100%, so that would be a $25,000 bond in other courts. Since he's got to pay 100%, it's $2,500.
I was gonna say, because there's two, and I don't want to rehash everything. So just vulnerable complainants and the extent of the accusations for the period of time of the abuses that we ask for 10,000. So.
And Judge, the idea is not for him to go back and continue working before taking care of this. The idea is he goes back and takes care of this and gets some orders in place so he can continue working if the concerns are that where he's working, there's vulnerable people. So if he gives you a bond.
No. My only concern is that he goes and turns himself in.
Yeah.
I don't care what you do. I don't care where you go work. I don't care if you're going to hang out with Jesus. The only thing you need to do is you need to go turn yourself in. That's the only thing I'm ordering you to do. That's what you need to do. Now, he wants a $10,000 bond. He wants a $2,500 bond. I'll set your bond at $6,000. Okay. If you make the bond, you need to go from the time that you make bond, I give you 14 days to go turn yourself in. Now, you need to also understand this, is that they're going to make travel arrangements to get Denver to come pick you up, and that can happen at no cost to you. For you to be able to bond out, you have to withdraw your waiver. You now have, how many days credits do you have so far? Let's see, you got arrested on?
I had to reset my computer.
On the 7th, it looks like, right?
Yesterday.
Right. So you have around 2 days credit. If you withdraw your waiver to go post that bond, you lose those 2 days. You don't have to make a decision now. I'm just telling you what happens and the consequence of you wanting to make bond, because I don't know if you're going to make it or not. If you want, we can roll you to tomorrow or the following day so you can reach out to your family to see if you're able to make the bond. And if you are, okay, then you do it. I'll let you guys talk about it and you tell me what you want to do. Okay?
Thank you, Judge. It'll take 3 minutes to get a decision and I'll let you know.
Take your time, no rush.
Ball right now,
Okay.
if he chooses to do so.
Thanks for watching. Stick around longer and click the highlighted videos to your right. See you there.